Gets it to himself, another offensive board. Picks it up and gives it to Sissoko. He puts up a three. That's good. Second three of the game for City. Sissoko, who had only made three on the year coming in. 80-73. There is a dunk by Klingon on another lob from Denny Avdia. He's got a double-double with his 10th assist of the night. And the Warriors take timeout. Love will get it in from the baseline. Throws it up top for Klingon. He's by himself. He's going to take the three. That's good. Klingon finally connects. It's 90-84. Donovan Klingon now with 22 points. That is a career high with that three for Donovan Klingon. Previous high was 21 against Denver last year. Robert Williams III will defend the inbound pass. Blazers by 4. Looking to get it in. They don't have a timeout. To Curry. Ball fake. Three on the way. It's off the mark. Tapped around. Loose. Pinball. Green has it. Throws it out to Curry. Three on the way. No good. Rebound Denny Avdia. It's a Rip City winner. Steph Curry misses 2 3-pointers in the final 8 seconds, and the Blazers snap an 8-game losing streak in this building. They beat the Warriors 127-123. This crowd is stunned.
The only group of fans that were stunned, I think Blazer fans may have been stunned as well, as their Blazers went into Golden State short-handed and all, and picked up a 127-123 victory over the Golden State Warriors. Welcome in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is one way to do so. And of course, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the conversation over there as well. And of course, we got so many ways for you to get in touch. It's ridiculous. We also got the brand new iHeart Radio, Rip City Radio text line. All you got to do, grab your phone, send a text message. You guys are all good at that. 88528. And you can send me your thoughts as we get you ready for Trailblazers versus Thunder tonight in OKC. But before we get to that, man, you got to talk about that game against Golden State. A crazy game for your Portland Trailblazers, and one that they definitely needed to kind of right the ship. They've had a couple tough nights. They had the Phoenix game where things just weren't clicking. They had the Chicago game where they mounted an incredible comeback in the fourth quarter, only to get hit by a buzzer beater by Nikola Vucevic to take that L. And then they go on the road. It's NBA Emirates Cup play. It's the Golden State Warriors. They are without Drew Holiday, right? Still no Scoot Henderson, who was updated. He'll be reevaluated in 2 to 4 weeks, and then we'll see where we're at. But Drew Holiday out 1 to 2 weeks dealing with a calf injury, and Shaedon Sharpe not playing in this game either. So you're kind of just left scratching your head as to what you're going to do and what that team is going to look like. And the Blazers go in. They start Tamani Kamara, Jeremy Grant, Donovan Klingon, Denny Avdia, and City Sissoko. Like, that's the starting lineup. Coming off the bench, Caleb Love, Robert Williams, Chris Murray, Ryan Rupert. Dwap Reith had a few minutes, and so did Javonte Cook. But they are relying on 38 minutes of the man, the myth, Caleb Love, who goes in. And, I mean, this guy was not expected to be a part of the rotation and do crazy things. But you know what? They needed him to do it in this one, and he absolutely answered the bell. And it's not very often that you see a situation, as you heard Travis Demers on the call there, where Steph Curry misses 2 3-pointers in the final 8 seconds of the game. The guy is one of the greatest, if not the greatest shooter of all time. You expect him to hit those. But the Blazers took advantage. They outscored the Warriors 35-28 in the first quarter. Were absolutely bounced by the Warriors in the second quarter, 44-30. Low-scoring third quarter. Then in that fourth quarter, they outscored the Warriors 33-26 to grab that victory. 31 assists on the night for your Trailblazers. They led 7 times. There were 8 lead changes. The biggest lead for the Warriors biggest lead for the Blazers was 9. Biggest lead for the Warriors was 11 points in the paint. They outdid the Warriors 46-42. Second chance points absolutely massive in this one, 28-10 in favor of the Trailblazers. So a lot went right, and I think quite honestly, you can look at guys like Donovan Clingan, who had a career night, just doing everything he could on the heels of that game against Chicago, where he had an incredible night as well, starting to put a string of great play together. Unfortunately, a little bit of a ankle injury in that game. So last update from your Portland Trailblazers was that Donovan Clingan is questionable tonight. We'll see if we get an update here during the show, and of course, we'll let you know. Take a look at the box score. Jimmy Butler had 20 points for the Warriors. Draymond Green had 11 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 38 points from Steph Curry, 14 of 23 from the floor, 9 of 17 from beyond the arc, 10 points from Moses Moody. Brandon Pajemski had 20 as well. On the Trailblazers side of things, Toumani Camara, 20 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, and a blocked shot. Jeremy Grant, this makes this night even weirder. So Jeremy Grant, who's been your bench player all night long, and who ends up getting on in the starting lineup because of the injuries, he goes out there and he's been an incredible scorer, right? Well, not on this one. He had just 5 points, 0 of 8 from the floor, 0 of 4 from beyond the arc, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, but everyone else stepped up. As we mentioned, Donovan Clingan, 22 points, 10 rebounds, a couple assists as well, 26 points, 13 assists from Denny Avdia, 15 points, a career best for Sidy Cissoko, and 26 points from Caleb Love, 9 of 20 from the floor, 6 of 14 from beyond the arc. So a great night for him. Robert Williams, he played 20 minutes. He had 8 points and 11 boards. So you needed some of those young guys to show up, and you know what? They absolutely showed up. And you got to give them credit for that. You got to give them credit for that. I love the fact that in another game where I think all the odds were against them, no one was going to give them a chance. They said, yeah, I don't care about what odds say or what you think. We're going to go out there. We're going to play a good game. We're going to play a good game. We're going to make this Warriors team work. And that's what they did. And I think if you look at the Chicago game, they kind of did the same thing. Didn't really give them a chance at all. At all. And they were in that game until Nikola Vucevic hit that crazy shot that, you can only just sit there and scratch your head and go, oh, okay, another buzzer beater, because that just seems to happen against the Blazers. The Blazers, first team? I think that stat was to lose on a legit buzzer beater 3 times in the same calendar year. That hurts. That hurts a lot. But overall, you take the win, you move on, because you have to go tonight against a very tough, very, very talented, perhaps unstoppable Oklahoma City Thunder team. They come in to this contest at 16-1. They are undefeated, 7-0 at home. Their one loss on the road, where they are 9-1. And Blazer fans remember it very well, because the 1 in 16-1 represents the time that Oklahoma came to Portland and lost at the Moda Center this season. So the Blazers know how to beat them. They know how to beat them, but of course that was a little bit of a different Blazer team, because you got to factor in the injuries and all of that. But they did grab a 121-119 victory. And in that game, Toumani Camara came up big. He had 16 points, 26 points from Denny Avdia. But you also had Drew Holiday and Shaedon Sharpe, who were huge. Dwap Reith, you guys remember when he started hitting those threes and he couldn't be stopped. Every single bucket he made was a huge one. Jeremy Grant had 20 off the bench. It was also a night where Donovan Clingan, he's had 7 points and 8 boards. So if he's a go tonight, hopefully he can continue the hot string of games that he has. But right now it's going to be rough. Blazers injury report: Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Damian Lillard, Shaedon Sharpe, Matisse Thybulle, Blake Wesley all out. Keep in mind, of that list, Damian Lillard is the only one that we knew was going to be out all season long. That's a tough one to get. And then questionable are Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams III, as he is dealing with the injury management of the left knee. Donovan Clingan dealing with a left ankle sprain. So if those guys can't go, you're going to have to go small again, or you're just going to go get a healthy dose of Young Hansen and Dwap Breath and see where this goes. Dwap Breath did do his job last time. Might as well just call him, the Thunder Killer. Like he goes out there. How every team has like the one guy that for some reason just goes off against him every time. Like for a little bit, it was Ian Clark. Ian Clark was a Blazer killer for a minute. Every time they played him, he just happened to have good games. Well, hey, maybe Dwap Breath has a good game against the Thunder tonight, just like he did a few weeks ago, and it helps them get a big victory. It'd be nice if the Thunder took their first loss at home and fell to, 2-loss team on the season. 16-2. And the 2 in that were both at the hands of the Trailblazers. However, if you are to believe ESPN's matchup predictor has the Thunder at a 92.7% chance to win. That's definitely favorable to OKC. Once again, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. You can also join the conversation. Just head on over to youtube.com. Type in Rip City Radio. Join the conversation there. And you can grab your phone and you can text 88528 to hit us up on the new Rip City Radio text line. To Unknown, who just came into the YouTube chat, when will Dame come back? Next season. He ain't playing this year. That was the timeline that we all expected. It's what he said. You got to remember, he even mentioned, they're like, oh, what if they were the number 1 seed going into the playoffs? Would you maybe suit up then? And he said, yeah, if they're the number 1 seed, they probably don't need me to try to force it. The thing with Dame is he's rehabbing and progressing very, very well. And you want to take your time with this, because the thing you don't want to do is move too fast, cause any sort of extra aggravation or any undue process to make this process longer. You want him to be able to come back ready to go next season, fully healthy, and make sure you keep as much tread on that tire as possible. I don't think it's worth throwing him out there no matter the situation. Hey, we need you to play the last 3 weeks of the season, the last month of the season. And, go through that, take your off season, be ready to go come training camp next year. That is the timeline we've all kind of assumed and been dealing with since day one. And that's what we continue to hear out of his camp and the Trailblazers. Once again, this is Blazers Game Day. Blazers taking on the Thunder tonight. Tip-off at 4 o'clock. Travis Demers on the call. Coming up at 3 o'clock. Chad Doing will have the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to dive into this OKC team. What makes them so incredibly tough to beat? Unless you're the Trailblazers. Remember, the 1-16-1. But every dog has its day. Hopefully, every dog can have 2 days, and the Blazers can get another W today. We'll talk about this Thunder team, what to expect tonight on the other side of the break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. for OKC versus PDX, the Blazers in Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder tonight, looking to hand the Thunder just their second loss on the season. The first one coming at the hands of your Portland Trailblazers. The Thunder, they are a dirty little team. They are so good. So darn good. They can beat you in a multitude of ways. They started the season with 5, 6, 7, 8 wins before taking a loss to the Trailblazers and have now rattled off another 8 in a row. So maybe the math can check out there, right? Like every time they play the Blazers with an 8-game win streak, they take the loss. But they have won handily and taken care of their business, all year long. All year long. They did have a tough one out of the gate, losing to beating the Rockets 125-124. But then they went on a string where they beat the Wizards by 20. They beat the Pelicans by 30. They beat the Clippers by 20. Then they lost to the Blazers. And then they rebounded by beating the Kings by 30, beating the Grizzlies by 14, beating the Warriors by 20, beating the Lakers by darn near 30. It's like beating the Hornets by 13. They kept it close. Beating the Pelicans by almost 20. Like, they are winning and winning handily. Their last game against the Jazz, yeah, they won that one 144-112. 144-112. And that was a game where Utah scored 44 points in the first quarter. 44 points in the first quarter, scored 44 points total in the second and third quarter combined. So when OKC wants to lock it in, they can. You take a look at that game against Utah. Isaiah Hartenstein had 12 points. Chet Holmgren had 11 points. Shea had 31. Lou Dort had 9. Sam Wallace had 10. Jalen Williams had 15. Alex Caruso had 11. Isaiah Joe had 16. AJ Mitchell had 12. Like, they were just getting everybody to pitch in, and they did it shooting so well too. They shot 61% from the field, 62% from beyond the arc. They were 23 of 37 in that one. So the Blazers are going to definitely have their hands cut out for them. That's what makes this Oklahoma City team just absolutely so dangerous. It's the fact that obviously how good Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is. He leads their team in scoring right now at 31.9 per game, but they have 6 players on that roster averaging 12 or more points. Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, AJ Mitchell, and Chet Holmgren. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leads their team in assists at 6.6, but the thing is, they have guys who can just do everything for you. Defensively and then offensively, they all can shoot the ball well. Like, none of them are a slouch on that end. You take a look through their main core of guys, and Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe both shooting greater than 40%, as is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from beyond the arc. From beyond the arc, all 3 of those guys shooting 40% or better. Sam Wallace shooting 38, Chet Holmgren shooting 35, and Alex Caruso shooting 34.9. So it's like they got guys on there who can absolutely shoot where they need to. Now, they're not taking a high volume every single night. Like, they're not out there going, okay, we're taking 35 shots. Aaron Wiggins is averaging just 12 shots total, 6.7 from beyond the arc. But boy, howdy do they hit them. So every single one of the guys can beat you, which means you have to play stellar defense. And then, speaking of which, defensively, Oklahoma City finds a way to just absolutely hound you. Sam Wallace, AJ Mitchell, Alex Caruso, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Isaiah Hartenstein. Those guys are all averaging 1.5 steals or more per game. Per game. They will make you work outside outside the arc. They will make you work in the mid-range. And then if you have to get to the paint, you got to deal with Chet Holmgren. So it's going to be absolutely tough against this team. You look at how they played against them last time. The Blazers struggled out of the gate. Keep in mind, if you remember correctly, that was my birthday game. That was November 5th, also Bill Walton's birthday. And you wanted the Blazers to get a birthday victory. They came out and they were slow. They were outscored by the Thunder 41-21 in the first quarter, and then they rebounded and outscored the Thunder in the next 3 on a night where the Thunder, who we just talked about, who can shoot the lights out, that Utah game, over 60% from the floor, over 60% from beyond the arc. Well, in the game against the Blazers, it was 41% from the floor, 39.5 from beyond the arc. Drastically different than what we've seen in a lot of their wins this year. So the key is right there, the Blazers defense has to be locked in, ready to go. A lot tougher to do, though, when you don't have Drew Holiday and you may not have Donovan Clingan as we await any more updates for him on his health. So there's just a lot of things you got to worry about, unfortunately. But defensively, you got locked in. But we've also seen throughout this year that it really doesn't matter if the defense is locked in, because if you don't have the offense, and this offense has struggled at times to get going, that you're going to be in for an absolutely long night. So you got to make sure offensively you're ready to go. Hard to do when, you may not have a Shaedon Sharpe and you don't have a point guard and you don't have all these guys that you're used to. That's when you're going to have big nights from Caleb Love, and kudos to him. He had an absolutely phenomenal night against the Warriors. Absolutely phenomenal. But we've also seen the nights where he struggles. You go back 2 games ago to that game against Chicago, in a game that was decided by a single point. Caleb Love was just 1 of 12 from the floor, 0 of 7 from beyond the arc. He is either going to be ice cold or he is going to be red hot. In a game tonight, you need defense locked in, and you need him being Caleb Love, to be red hot. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. Go over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. You can also grab your fancy telephone, send us a text message at 88528, and we'll pick up your texts on the new Rip City Radio text line, where I'm seeing the texts from the 5th quarter that Chad hosted, filling in for me the other day. And there's a lot of talk about point guards, and I want to get to that when we come back, because the Blazers obviously have a point guard problem. Caleb Love is a shooting guard in a point guard's body. You can't rely on him to be the guy who slows everything down and sets the team up. Not necessarily because he can't do it, but because that's definitely not his strength. His strength is get the ball in my hand and let me shoot this basketball. You can have those off nights that we've talked about, but when he's hot, he's absolutely phenomenal. So what could the Blazers do at point guard? We'll talk about it when we return from this break here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. It's time now to head to the Coach's Corner. Let's hear from head coach Tiago Splitter.
Last second, and so good to see them grinding and getting it done at the end. We made the free throws. We got a couple stops. A lot of guys step up. CD, Caleb Love, Danny with 14 assists. A lot of good things. I think Donovan Clingan played awesome game, but second half he was working with Rob and awesome job by him, just being able to be up and guard the shooters. So we try a lot of things until something stick and work. So a lot of good things from a lot of people.
You mentioned a number of guys, as you should have, but can we talk a little bit more about Caleb and his night? Obviously a career high in 26. Confidence looked high for him.
Yeah, I told him every shot but one was a good shot. The one was a little crazy. But, this is who he is. He's a scorer, and was able to knock down shots. But also defensively, he's doing a good job. I told him, if you're going to shoot over there, you got to also be able to guard your man and be, a great defender for us.
You had so many nice things to say about CD pre-game, and we saw most of those things tonight in the game. What did you like most about the way he played?
CD, honestly, he's doing this the whole summer. He's working hard on everything, not making mistakes, But again, he played 23 minutes, helped us with a lot of hustle plays, and not take out the shots that he made, but also the hustle plays, the defense, being aware. This is a very good team, very well coached, very hard to guard them, with shooters all over the court. It's not easy.
How big was it to see Tumani have a game like this where all those shots were going in for him?
Yeah, we talked before the game, right? But tonight he saw his shots going in. Too bad he has those quick fouls there, and I had to sit him and then just wait for whenever Curry was in the court and put him back. But whenever guys just playing both sides of the court, it's really good.
Tiago, how important is it to get a full team effort like you got tonight when you're trying to break a losing streak, and also Blazers haven't won in San Francisco since I think it's been like 4 years now too. So to break those streaks, you get a bunch.
Years?
I believe it's been 4 years. Yes. So how important is it to kind of get everyone on the roster to contribute? Because it seems like that's really what you got tonight, to get off those kind of streaks.
Well, I'm gonna be a little bit repetitive here, but our goal is to be competitive every game. You might win or lose, but feel really bad when we have those losses by like in Houston or stuff like that. So we want to compete. We want to have a chance to end the game and end the game with a chance to win the basketball game. So again, effort by everyone. Guys in sometimes in short stints coming in and giving everything, like Rupert just got there, played 2 minutes, whatever, but he was guarding full court and giving everything that he has. So those little things add up. And then, just found a team of 5 guys at the end of the game that could compete and play against their offense, which is pretty good.
Could you talk just a little bit more about Rob as well? You talked about him in the fourth quarter. He was so good. He got that. I believe he had that block that saved a three-pointer.
Yeah, he's still under minutes restriction, right? I think I play him over the limit, but I always keep asking Rob, you got 2 more minutes, you got 2 more minutes. I need you out there just by the matchup. And, just his ability to protect the rim and finish around the rim strong and just being a leader on our defense.
And there you hear from head coach Tiago Splitter. And yeah, that's a great game. They needed those performances. Glad they got them. Now, we had talked about, and Chad obviously was talking about this in the fifth quarter. Lots of people were asking him about it, but point guard play. And that's something Tiago Splitter talked about a couple games ago. This team's missing a point guard. And so what do you do? Well, how do you fix that hole? Where do you go? There's a lot of opportunities. It'd be an interesting one as I look into it is the Blazers currently have three-way spots, right? Caleb Love, Sidi Sissoko, and Javonte Cook are their three-way players. There's the ability to waive one of those guys and try to find another guy on a two-way deal. Or you go for a free agent that's not two-way eligible. And to be two-way eligible, you have to have 4 years or less of NBA experience. And you find a vet that can come in there and fill that. Interestingly enough, a guy who is, air quotes, retired, current general manager for Hawaii basketball, Patty Mills, you could bring in a vet there. Bringing in vets, though, would require waiving someone like Ryan Rupert, who I know Blazer fans love. I love Ryan Rupert. Unfortunately, at this point, he has yet to scratch anything. Like he is not, he hasn't even scratched his ceiling. I think he's looking down at it like, oh, is that the ceiling or the floor? They one and the same. He has not progressed the way people had hoped for a young player who, kind of had shades of Nick Batum in his game, a guy he idolized and learned from, but he hasn't really made that jump. And maybe you have to make a move. Maybe it's off him to free up a roster space. Looking at some of the free agents who are available, Sean says Victor Oladipo. The injury concerns there, right? But there is guys out there. You do have Spencer Dinwiddie. You could go real crazy and go see how much money Ben Simmons is willing to take. You want the vet minimum. Markelle Fultz out on the free agent market. This all according to the NBA webpage. And so there's people out there. One that I would be intrigued with, well, a couple honestly. Well, you had Elfrid Payton. He did pretty well in the 10 days that he was getting with the Pelicans last season, but another player that was signed to a two-way deal and then later waived because of a lower leg injury, but also multiple reasons is Yuki, right? We all know Yuki Kawamura. He came in. He is like every NBA fan's favorite player because he's the shortest roster player in the NBA. But you could, in theory, go out there and do, okay, Javonte Cook possibly out. Go see if Yuki is healthy and available for a two-way deal since he only has 2 years of NBA experience. And now you have a guy who in the crisis situations knows how to play point guard. That's his game, is setting other people up. Not only that, especially at 5'6", that is your job. Your job's not driving to the basket. Your job's not doing it. It is setting the offense up, handling the ball, not turning it over, being smart with it. Again, he's not a world beater, and I think in this situation, no one is expecting you to sign the world beater. Oh man, look at this free agent that we signed. He's gonna push for starter minutes. No, that's not the case. But I would think guys like that would certainly be available and worth looking into, right? Especially if you could do it on the two-way type deal where they could come in, they're not taking up a main roster spot, and you still have the availability to maybe see some progress and growth with them moving forward. So not a ton of free agent options, but there are still options out there if that's the way the Blazers want to go. Now, let's see. Campaign is another one who's available. Definitely has some experience running the point guard. He's had runs where he's been pretty good. He's had runs where he's been an average NBA player. But the Blazers don't need anything more than that. Get a vet in here who can run, or scour the G League for a guy who you can get two-way eligible and bring in. But the Blazers point guard situation, it's not getting better, especially with now you are now without a true point guard for at minimum 2 weeks. Well, I guess a minimum 1 week because Drew Holiday is going to be out 1 to 2 weeks. Scoot Henderson will be reevaluated in 2 to 4. Blake Wesley is going to be out for months, and Dame's not playing this year. So at minimum 1 to 2 weeks before you get just one of your point guards back. And you may need one in the future too. So I look at those guys that you could, like I said, a Yuki Kawamura. He's a point guard, handles the ball well, You're not asking him to move mountains. You're not even asking him to move a molehill. You're just asking him to dribble the ball and set teams up because we need a guy who plays that position. And if you could do that on the two-way deal without a lot of pain, not a terrible idea in my book. And like I said, a couple of vets out there. And if you really wanted to, spin the wheels on something, kick the wheels on something, give old Patty Mills a call. I mean, I know he's air quotes retired, but come on, it's Patty Mills. Give me a 10-day contract. I know it's not really what he'd go get, but hey, minimum deal, rest of the year, come on in, end the year where you started, my friend. Have some fun. So that's where they're going, but it's also why you're not seeing a ton of movement there because there's just not a ton of free agents at that position to deal with right now. If you want to get in on the conversation with us, what point guard do you want to see sign? Head on over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, join the chat there. Of course, you can text the hotline 88528 where we do have a text in that says, how about Delano Banton? I mean, Delano is a name that Blazer fans obviously love. He could come in and run the offense to a point because he knows what's going on. He doesn't have to change much. Hey, remember that offense that you've ran for the last few years as our point guard? Even though your chaos is you are chaos in controlled environment. Like, yeah, see what you can go do with that. But Delano Banton, that's a name that I know Blazer fans would absolutely love to find a way to get back in Portland. But he also is playing currently with the Texas Legends. So, I don't know what his contract status is with Dallas. I don't know if he's what he's involved in. But again, the way two-way deals work and the G League is just all crazy in and of itself. But if he's available, it's absolutely a guy you at least consider bringing in at some point because, hey, you're a point guard and you know what the heck you're doing with this team. It was just a day ago with the Legends that he had 13 assists, a career high, and 31 points, 6 boards, 56%. Again, it's the G League, but it's also DB Hooper. Bring back the best nickname in town. The nickname to local lore, it's unmatched. Unmatched. That alone is worth bringing him back. So there are options. And I do think that is a name that if Blazer fans were around, they'd be pretty hyped because Blazer fans love him. I can't explain it. But Blazer fans love Delano Banton. All right, we're going to take a quick little break here on Blazers Game Day. When we come back, it's time for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to hand the Oklahoma City their second loss of the season and their second loss at the hands of the Trailblazers? We'll let you know when we return from this break on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. If you'd like to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. YouTube.com, type in Rip City Radio. You can join the chat there. Or, of course, the new Rip City Radio text line. Just grab your phone, text 88528, and you can get us your comments there. Where one comment says, "Thanks, Chris. You do such a great job. I always love listening to you and your expertise. Hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving. Show your Blazer, baby." Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I much appreciate that. It is time now, though, for our keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder? An Oklahoma City Thunder team that, as we mentioned, has just one loss on the season. They are 16-1, and the one is at the hands of your Portland Trailblazers. So that is definitely something to hang your hat on. Absolutely it is. And as I mentioned earlier too, they came into the Moda Center with an 8-game win streak before the Blazers handed them a loss, and they're currently on another 8-game win streak. So maybe that just bodes well for the Portland Trailblazers. But as we have also mentioned, the Thunder, they are a nasty good team. They are good on both sides of the ball. They are 4th in the league right now at 122.6 points per game. 5th in the league, Portland Trailblazers at 121 points per game, but they will find ways to get you. Oklahoma City shoots 35% from beyond the arc, despite the fact they have some really good shooters on that top end. Defensively, they will rebound the ball. They are right there with the Blazers at 45-45, but defensively, they lead the league in steals. That's where they start to lock it in. They will put the clamps on you. They will make you turn the ball over. They are number 1 in steals. They are top 10 in blocks. They make you work. They not only are they top 10 in actual blocks, they are tops in blocks against. All right. So and when I say top, I mean bottom, as in they don't block a lot of shots of theirs. So they're going to find ways to get you defensively, block your shots, make you work. But then when they attack the rim, they don't get blocked a ton. The only team better than them, and they're not even better because they're tied, is the San Antonio Spurs. That's just because it's really hard to block Victor Wembanyama, right? So that one makes a little bit of sense. But when they do got bigs like Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren and guys who can move the ball like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and their ball movement lends to open shots, that's why they don't have a lot of block shots against them. Funny enough, the team that is currently 2nd worst in the league when it comes to their shots being blocked, the Portland Trailblazers at 6 per game. So the Blazers, if you start to look at this and you know how it went down the first time, is the Blazers have to make sure that defense is locked in. It has to be top notch. Now in that game that they beat them earlier this year, it started slow and then they eventually got that defense locked in, gave Oklahoma City fits, and were able to claw back after getting down 20 early in the first quarter. But you also understand, we all were there, we lived in the moment. Another reason they were able to make that comeback was because they started to get hot offensively as the game went on. They only shot 40% from the floor and 44% from beyond the arc, which is great for this Blazer team. But it did not start that way, and they had to get into that. You can't afford that in this one. It's made harder by the fact you're missing so many bodies, but you got to get locked in offensively. And I think when you start to look at how this team plays, again, Oklahoma City, understand that you need to start cutting off the ball movement. If they're going to find ways to get to the rim or get by you, whatever, their ball movement is so crisp. And if they start making you waste that energy chasing the ball around in a circle, you're going to struggle. And then they're going to get hot and they're going to get in a rhythm. So you got to get up on them. You got to cut off those passing lanes. Understand that there's going to be times that you get beat. That just happens. It's the Oklahoma City Thunder. But you absolutely need to defensively cut those lanes off, make them work. We also talked about a second ago about how they are one of the teams who does not get their shots blocked a lot. Them and San Antonio leading the league in fewest blocks against. The Blazers are going to need a huge game tonight from Donovan Clingan. He has been playing very well as of late. Career games, putting up double-doubles, getting you rebounds, getting you block shots. He was listed as questionable yesterday. The Blazers just now sent out their injury update. Robert Williams, he is being downgraded from questionable to out for tonight's game, but Donovan Clingan is available to play. So with DC ready to go, you're going to have to get out there and definitely defensively lock in the paint, make them work. You don't get a lot of block shots, but also Donovan Clingan is a good shot blocker. So maybe it's the type of night where you are just locked into your wheelhouse and you're going to make them understand that, hey, I own the paint. I don't care if your name's Isaiah or Chet or Shea or Lou Dort or nope, I own the paint. This is my paint. You get out of it. That's going to force them to move the ball around, which goes back to what we talked about earlier, blocking those passing lanes, making them work. Do those things, maybe stand a chance. But the nights that we say you don't stand a chance, you go out and beat the Warriors. So you never know what to expect. It is NBA basketball. All right, coming up next is the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. And 4 o'clock tip-off, it's Blazers Thunder here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio. As always, keep it locked in after the game for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're talking about a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.